response there. This is our time of great expectation in Advent 4. We await the coming of Jesus, born of a virgin in a manger. We await the arrival of friends and families for our festive get-togethers. We await gifts under the tree that say, I love you, from my beloved ones. And if you're the parent of a 1-year-old with a funky sleep schedule, you long for your favorite hymn to come true. Silent Night. But of course, on this fourth Sunday of Advent, we're going to take this word expectation and focus, as I mentioned earlier, not so much on our expectations, but on God's expectations. In other words, what does God expect of us this time of year? What are God's expectations for us? And we get a hint from our gospel passage this morning. We get this wonderful story of Joseph. Today, Mary is not getting the full spotlight. It's Joseph's time. And so we ask ourselves, who was Joseph, other than that guy whose statue we bury upside down in our yards so that our houses sell more quickly? We know Joseph worked with his hands. The Greek tells us he was a carpenter. Those words can also be interpreted as a stonemason, worked with his hands. We assume he was old because in the Bible, as Jesus gets older, Joseph kind of fades away. Some of our Catholic friends believe Joseph was a widower, and Mary was Joseph's second wife, so that when Jesus is said to have brothers and sisters later in the Gospels, they're really half-siblings on Joseph's side, which allows Mary to retain her eternal virginity. Of course, many of us love Joseph for his real estate value. Many of others like us because he's the patron saint to older fathers. And I think all of us like to admire Joseph because he's best known for living out God's expectations for him. He did what he was told. In Joseph, we see a good man engaged to a bride who turned up pregnant. Ever wonder what was going on in Joseph's mind? Is it the neighbor, the FedEx guy? We'll get that later. Whatever the case, Joseph took this scenario very well, and instead of having her publicly shamed or even stoned, because some interpreters will tell you that that would have been well within his rights to have Mary stoned. But Joseph, in fact, planned to have Mary quietly put away. So he gets this sense, what a good guy. Of course, the word of the Lord came to Joseph, and the Lord told Joseph to marry his fiancée, to have the child, and name him Jesus. And Joseph did just that. Joseph lived up to the expectation that God had for him. And we honor him for that. We look up to Joseph for that. Later in our service, when we hear that song, Let It Be, it's because it wasn't just Mary who was obedient to the Lord, but Joseph as well. I was speaking with a friend recently who said that in some Latin cultures, when a woman is named Maria, frequently her middle name will be Jose. Many of us know people named Mary Jo. Some of us have inside churches named St. Mary's, and you'll find a Joseph Chapel. What does this all hold in common? But the idea that where Mary's obedience goes, Joseph's obedience goes. So what we see in Mary, we also see in Joseph. This willingness to do what God asked of him. We see these holy parents living up to those expectations, and we wonder what that looks like for you and me. As we wonder, what does God expect of us? Does God expect me to regularly pray, to regularly read Scripture, to be devoted in some particular way to our spiritual lives? What's expected of us spiritually? Are our priorities, what are they? Making money, taking care of family, working out, vacationing? Certainly those are some of my priorities, but where in line are they? What would God's priorities be in our lives regarding our priorities and the ways that we exercise our devotion to God? And what does God expect of you and me in our most significant relationships? How does God expect you or me to treat our spouse or our partner? How does Joseph's treatment of Mary and her pregnancy speak to us about the ways we treat our spouses and our parents? We look at Joseph and we get this idea of honor, of respect, of kindness, of selflessness, not of vengeance, not of vindictiveness, but of kindness and acceptance. What are God's expectations of us in the relationships closest to our hearts? What is God expect of us in our vocations, the gifts that we've been given and the ways that we're supposed to exercise those gifts? Does God expect a certain work ethic? Does God expect me to cultivate certain gifts or skills? Do we forget that we are here to work for the sake of doing good, and that money is secondary? And we're here primarily to make goodness and to make peace, not money. What does God expect of you and me as a neighbor, of a community member? Am I expected to be a good citizen? Expected to pick up the trash, even though I didn't cause it? What does that look like? Do we contribute and build up the community that we've been given? What does God expect of our engagement with those around us? Scripture is very clear on what God expects us, and Jesus made that very clear. Love God, love your neighbor. In the Hasidic Jewish religion, there's no shortage of writing on the subject of loving others as you would like to be loved. That's often a way for me to get my mind around that. How would I like to be treated? Well, that's how I have to treat them. When I'm late, would I want my friends to forgive me when I'm late? Well, I better forgive that person when they're late. One way is explained through two Hebrew words when you look at the Hasidic understanding here. Those two words are retzo and shov, and they're described as two complementary spiritual movements. Okay? The first retzo means running to God. How in our lives do we run to God? It's a wonderful word picture in terms of going to God, to worship, to pray, to be with. How do we run to God? And then the word shov means return, and how do I then return to the world? Because let's face it, the best and only way to love God is to love your neighbor, is to love those around us. Thus, our lives of love are constantly running back and forth between ratzo and shov, between worshiping God and serving humanity. And this is properly understood in the Jewish context that nothing is separate from God. The ultimate goal for humans is to live and act spiritually in this material world that God created and put us in. If God intended for the soul to be a union with God without involvement with materiality, He'd not have created the earth and the fullness thereof and sent us down here. And we achieve the balance of living in this world with God through that one glorious word that we use to define God, and that's the word love. Love must be at the center of our lives, individually and communally as a church. Striving to have love be the centering compass point that we point to. In fact, the rabbis like to tell the story about how the exact location for the spiritual home of the Jews in Jerusalem was arrived at. Ever wonder how did they decide to build a temple right there? Well, they like to tell this story to explain it. Once there were two brothers, and they grew up together on their father's farm. They loved each other dearly. And when their father died, the land was split evenly between the two brothers. The first brother got married and had a child. The second brother stayed single and spent a lot of his time on hobbies. During one particularly prosperous year, the first brother was speaking with his wife over dinner. And he said, you know, honey, we've had this really great year, and we've got a lot to give thanks for. Now, since we've harvested so much wheat, I think we should share it with my brother next door. Because he's all alone, he's in that big house, he's got those hobbies he likes to do, and surely he could invest it and enjoy life better. Well, at the very same time, his brother was having dinner in his house. And he thought to himself, you know, this has been such a wonderful year, and I've harvested more wheat than ever. I'm going to take some of that wheat over to my brother, because after all, he's got wife, kids to deal with, and I don't need all this abundance. Well, knowing that his brother would not take his gift willingly, the first brother got up in the middle of the night, and he grabbed 3 huge sheaves of wheat, and he took them over to his brother's farm and put them right there in the barn. The second brother, knowing that his brother would not take this gift willingly, also got up in the middle of the night, and he carried 3 huge sheaves of wheat over to his brother's farm, and he put them there in the barn. Well, both brothers woke up the next day and went to their barns, and they were shocked to see that nothing had changed. They had the same amount of wheat that they started with. So that night, both brothers, they got up and they did the same holy errand, each taking 3 sheaves of wheat to the other's barn in the middle of the night. And the next morning, the same shock as they discovered nothing amiss in their barns. Well, on the third night, both brothers did the same thing, only this time they did it at the same time. And they bumped into each other on the way to each other's arms. Each of them caught red-handed, trying to bless the other without the other catching on. Well, then and there, the brothers dropped the wheat and they embraced each other in one big, warm, glowing hug. And it was on that spot, it is said, that Israel came upon the location of their temple. The place of selfless generosity and love that we wish the very best for those around us. The foundation for everything lasting we want to build must be love. Well, if you go there today, not far from that temple is a little stone home in the Holy Land. Some tour guides will tell you that it's the very first home of Joseph and Mary, their starter home. It's still there, and it's a small place, as most starter homes are. And as you enter this home, there's a prayer that you're encouraged to say. And as we end our time together, I invite you to turn to the back of your bulletins, where I printed that prayer for us to say together. Let us pray. Dear just Joseph, you whom divine grace has filled, the Savior rested in your arms and grew up under your eyes. Blessed are you among men, and blessed is Jesus, the divine child of your virginal wife. Saint Joseph, to whom God entrusted Jesus, pray for us in our family, health, and